In the cold, silent dark of space, something moved. A giant alien ship, almost the size of a small moon, entered Earth's solar system. Its black surface swallowed all light. It made no sound, no noise. But it was not alone. Behind it came many more hundreds of smaller ships, each filled with soldiers, weapons, and machines. These were the Archevians, one of the oldest and proudest empires in the galaxy. They ruled over hundreds of planets. They had destroyed powerful enemies, and now they had found a new target, Earth. The Archevians believed Earth was weak. They called it a primitive blue world. Their scanners showed humans still used fossil fuels, had wars over small things, and barely traveled in space. To them, Earth was like a cave, dark, dirty, and simple. Inside the lead ship, High Commander Trellin stood with his hands behind his back. He looked at the blue planet through the ship's glass window. "So this is Earth," he said in a cold voice. "No defense rings, no space fleet, no warnings, just floating, quiet, and weak." His second-in-command, Vora, smiled. "The humans won't know what hit them, Commander. We can take this world in less than a day." Trellin nodded. "Prepare the landing teams. We'll begin in their largest cities. No need to be careful. Break them fast. Make them submit." The orders went out. Within minutes, hundreds of smaller crafts separated from the mothership and began flying toward Earth. They were fast, almost invisible to human satellites. Some headed for New York, others to Tokyo, London, and Moscow. The attack would be sudden and complete. But something unexpected happened. As the ships entered Earth's atmosphere, one of the alien crafts flying over the Pacific Ocean started shaking. The pilot screamed. A strange energy field had touched the ship. Lights blinked, systems failed, and then boom, the ship exploded in midair before it could even reach the ground. Trellin stared at the screen. "What was that?" Vora looked confused. "Unknown Commander, no human weapon can do this. That ship was made of neutron steel." "Check again," Trellin ordered. "Earth should not have such power." Another ship went down near Antarctica, then a third near the Sahara. Something was stopping them, something powerful and hidden. On Earth, the people looked up. In New York, a strange light appeared in the sky. It formed a huge dome around the city, glowing blue and humming with energy. In Tokyo, the skies turned gold as an invisible force pushed away the incoming alien crafts. The world watched in fear, but also in wonder. Something was protecting them, but no one knew what it was. In a secret base, deep under the Rocky Mountains, an old computer came alive. Dust covered the screens, old metal doors opened. A robotic voice whispered, "Project Titan activated. Earth Defense Protocol online." Inside that base, a man opened his eyes. His name was Elias. No one knew where he came from. He had no passport, no ID, but the machines knew him. "Welcome, Commander Elias," the system said. "The Archevians have returned." Back in space, Trellin was angry now. This is not possible. Earth is not a primitive world. Something is wrong. Vora looked pale. "Commander, we are receiving a signal. It's coming from the planet. Put it on." The screen flickered. A face appeared. It was not human. It looked made of light and metal, with glowing eyes. The voice was calm, but deep, like thunder. "You were warned," Trellin stepped back. "Who are you?" the voice continued. "You enter a world you do not understand. You come with war. Earth does not fear war. Earth is war." And then the signal ended. Suddenly, from behind Earth's moon, a strange object moved. It looked like a broken satellite at first, but then it opened unfolding like a flower. It was a weapon, huge, ancient, and deadly. It charged up, glowing brighter than the sun for a second. Then it fired. A beam of pure energy shot out. It hit one of the Archevians' mid-sized warships. The ship didn't just explode, it vanished. Nothing was left, not even dust. Panic spread in the alien fleet. Ships pulled back. Soldiers shouted. This was not the mission they expected. They had walked into a trap. Trellin was silent now. He turned away from the window and clenched his fists. "This is not a weak world," he whispered. "This is something else." Back on Earth, Elias stood inside the ancient control room. He touched a metal wall, and it lit up with old symbols. Machines woke from their long sleep. They had not moved in thousands of years. "Begin the countdown," Ilias said. The voice answered. "Countdown to full planetary defense. Initiated." In space, the Archevian ships were still trying to understand what had gone wrong, but it was too late. Earth was awake now, and Earth did not forgive Isili. The Archevians had never seen anything like this. High Commander Trellan stood on the bridge of the alien flagship, his sharp black armor reflecting the dim red light of the control room. The silence inside the room was heavy. His soldiers waited for his command, but he said nothing. His cold eyes were fixed on the glowing blue planet below. Earth was awake. "What just happened?" Trellan finally asked. Second Commander Vora swallowed nervously. "Our scanners, they detected weapons. Old, ancient, but powerful. We believe Earth is not what we thought it was. There are defenses hidden beneath its surface." Trellan's jaw tightened. "Defenses? From where? These humans are barely above animals. How can they have this technology?" But Vora had no answer. None of them did. The awakening of Project Titan far below, deep inside the Rocky Mountains, the Titan Control Center came to life. The massive underground base had been built long before any human civilization existed. Its walls were covered with strange metal, glowing faintly with symbols no one could read. Elias stood in the heart of it all, staring at a large black screen that was slowly filling with white lines and codes. The machines recognized him as their commander, though he had no idea why. A robotic voice spoke from the walls. "Defensive Phase 1, active global shield network, is 27% charged. Weapons grid awakening, threat level, extreme." Elias clenched his fists. He remembered flashes of something memories not his own. Burning skies, alien screams, the sound of war. It was as if Earth itself had chosen him to fight. "Show me the weapons grid," Elias ordered. The floor shook. Metal doors opened, and a hologram rose from the ground. It showed the whole planet glowing lines spread across oceans, mountains, and cities. Beneath every major city, powerful energy cores were coming online. Massive machines, buried for centuries, were preparing to fight. The Archevian mistake conned the flagship. The Archevians were preparing for their second attack. "Commander," said Vora, "our forces are ready. We'll send the heavy carriers this time. No human weapon can stop them." Trellan looked at Earth one last time. "Make sure they understand fear. Destroy one of their cities. Show them who rules this galaxy." "Yes, Commander." 6 massive war carriers, shaped like dark blades, detached from the main fleet. They entered Earth's atmosphere, cutting through the clouds like knives. Their target, New York City. But just as they prepared to fire their plasma cannons, the ground beneath New York trembled. The city moved. From deep underground, a tower of steel rose, taller than any building. It glowed with red and gold light, and its tip formed a sharp weapon. In seconds, the energy cannon charged, humming with unstoppable power. Then the blast shot out and hit the first Archivia carrier. It didn't just explode, it disappeared like it was erased from reality. The voice that wasn't human, the remaining alien ships pulled back, their pilots confused and terrified. Then a voice filled the sky. It wasn't human. It came from everywhere, every screen, every radio, every device on Earth. "You were warned once. This planet is under our protection. Leave or face extinction." The Archevian soldiers looked at one another. Some whispered in fear. Even Trellan's face darkened. "Who is speaking?" Trellan demanded. "Is it human?" Vora shook his head. "No, Commander, this voice is coming from the planet itself." Elias and the Guardians back in the Titan Control Center, Elias watched everything unfold through a glowing screen. The voice that had warned the aliens was not his was the voice of the machines. Elias placed his hand on a control panel. "Activate the Guardians," he said. The robotic voice replied, "Command accepted. Guardian units awakening. Stand by." Across the world, massive structures began to rise from the ground. In the Sahara Desert, the sands split apart to reveal a black metal giant with glowing blue eyes. In the Amazon jungle, a temple-like structure opened, showing a weapon shaped like a dragon. These were Earth's hidden Guardians machines, older than humanity itself. Elias felt the power humming through the ground. "If they want war," he whispered, "then they'll get war." The Archevian fear back in space, the alien fleet watched the impossible. A primitive world, building weapons beyond their understanding. Commander Vora said nervously, "This is not just a planet. This is a fortress." What if the legends were true? Trellin turned sharply. Legends? What legends? Vora hesitated. There are stories, old ones, about a war from millions of years ago. A war that wiped out entire star systems. Some say the weapon was Earth. The words hung in the air like a dark shadow. Trellan's face hardened. I don't believe in legends, but I will not underestimate this world again. The next step, Elias stood alone in the control room, staring at the glowing hologram of Earth's defenses. The Guardians were awake now, but he knew it was only the beginning. The Archevians would not give up so easily. Status report, Elias said. High above Earth, the Archevian fleet floated in silence. Their giant ships formed a ring around the planet, dark as shadows, watching, waiting. But something had changed. The Archevians were no longer proud. They were no longer laughing. They were afraid. Commander Trellin stood at the edge of the main control deck. His sharp red eyes stared at Earth's glowing surface. This planet was supposed to fall in minutes, he growled. Why are we still here? Beside him, Second Commander Vora replied carefully, We did not expect resistance like this. Commander, Earth is ... protected. Trellan slammed his fist on the table. I don't want excuses. I want fire. Prepare the full assault. Target their biggest cities. Burn them. Vora nodded. Yes, Commander. Launching now. The attack begins all across the alien fleet. Weapons came online. Energy cores lit up. Plasma cannons charged. Red lights blinked. The sky above Earth was about to burn. 12 warships broke formation and rushed toward the planet. Each one carried weapons strong enough to destroy a small moon. Their target, New York, London, and Beijing. Inside each ship, alien gunners locked onto their targets, firing in 302. But just as the alien ships were about to fire, something impossible happened. The sky changed. Above each city, the air shimmered like water. Then, huge glowing shields appeared, shaped like domes, made from energy. These weren't made by human technology. They were too smooth, too perfect, and too fast. Boom. The first plasma blast hit New York's shield and vanished. No damage. Not even smoke. Boom, boom, boom. The next 2 ships fired at London and Beijing. Same result. The shields held strong. The cities were untouched. The alien gunners froze. One whispered, "Dot." The voice returns. Then the voice returned. It came through every alien ship, through their computers, radios, and helmets. It wasn't human. It was calm, deep, and ancient. You were warned. Do not harm the children of Earth. Inside, the flagship, Trellin shouted, "Shut it down. Block the signal." Vora looked scared. We can't. It's inside our systems. Something is controlling us. The screens inside their ship flickered. A new image appeared, a symbol, a glowing triangle inside a circle. Below it, one word, Titan. Trellin's eyes widened. What is Titan? No one knew. Elias takes command far beneath Earth's surface. In the Titan Control Center, Elias stood before a giant command screen. Dozens of glowing lines crossed the map of Earth. Guardian units were in position. City shields were strong. The world was protected, but Elias wasn't finished. Open the vault, he said. A metal floor slid open. From the darkness below, a tall figure rose, a humanoid machine covered in silver armor. Its eyes glowed gold. Its arms carried twin plasma blades. It spoke. Guardian Alpha, ready? Elias looked at the screen. Send them. Earth fights back from the Amazon, the desert, and the mountains. Earth's Guardian units launched into the sky. Giant machines, built long ago by a forgotten civilization. Now flew like birds of war. One Guardian reached an alien ship above London in seconds. It spun in the air, aimed its arms, and fired 2 blue beams of energy. Boom. The Archevian's second ship exploded in fire. Another Guardian crashed through an alien carrier near Beijing, slicing its wings off with glowing blades. All across the sky, Earth's Guardians battled the alien invaders. Faster, smarter, and stronger than anything the Archevians had seen. Trellin's rage back on the flagship. Alarms screamed. Every screen showed the same thing. Their ships were falling one by one. Trellin turned to Vora. We underestimated them. This is not a backwater planet. This is a battlefield. Vora nodded slowly. Commander, we may need to retreat. Trellan's face twisted with rage. No, I will not run from animals. Then suddenly the ship shook. A deep, loud hum filled the control room. Lights flickered, and then silence. Stralis Trellan demanded. One of the engineers shouted, "Something is happening to our core. A signal from Earth. It's shutting. US down." The old weapon back in Titan control, Elias walked into a large, dark chamber. The walls were covered in strange writing. At the center stood an ancient device. It looked like a sphere of metal and light. "Is it ready?" he asked. The robotic voice replied, "This is the orbital nullifier. One-time use, fully charged." Elias nodded. "Target the enemy flagship." The room grew cold, the end of a flagship high. Above Earth, the Archevians' flagship floated in silence. Then, a beam of white energy fired from Earth's surface. It moved silently, with no sound or flame. It touched the flagship gently and, then the ship cracked like glass. Crash! The middle of the ship broke apart. Flames burst from inside. Explosions followed. Within seconds, the mighty flagship that ruled over 100 worlds was falling in burning pieces toward Earth's oceans. Commander Trellan's final words were never heard. Elias watches the sky in Titan control. Elias watched the explosion. Through the screen, one hand rested on the glowing console. The robotic voice spoke again. Enemy flagship destroyed. Remaining ships falling back. Elias whispered, "Let them run." Retreat and fear in orbit, the remaining Archevians did exactly that. Their ships turned. Their engines roared. They left Earth behind, silent and defeated. But they would not forget, back in deep space. News of the failed invasion would spread fast. The galaxy would learn. Earth was not primitive. Earth was powered, far below the Earth's surface. Inside, the hidden Titan control center. Everything was quiet for a moment. The alien flagship had been destroyed. The Archevians were retreating. The sky above Earth was finally clear, but Elias did not rest. He stood alone in the control room, staring at the glowing map. The Guardian units were returning to their underground chambers. The orbital nullifier had used all its power. The planet was safe for now. The robotic voice spoke again. Earth status, secure. Remaining threats, minimal. But Elias didn't smile. He felt something strange inside. A memory. No, a feeling, like he had done this before. He looked down at his own hands. "Who am I?" he whispered. The mystery of Elias wasn't like other humans. He didn't have a past. No birth record, no family, no country, no fingerprints in any database. And yet he could control Titan. The machines listened to him. The Guardians obeyed his commands. The ancient weapons of Earth accepted his voice like it had been programmed into them 1,000,000 years ago. How was this possible? In one part of the base, a machine called the Core Memory Vault came online. It had not been touched in thousands of years. The robotic voice said, "Vault unlocked. Commander Elias may now access restricted data." Elias entered the vault. The door opened slowly, releasing a cold white mist. Inside, glowing crystals floated in the air. Each one held information, visions, sounds, memories. He touched the first one. Visions from the postulite flashed. Suddenly, Elias saw a battlefield, but it was not Earth. It was a different world, a red sky, 3 moons, and broken towers. Giant machines fought in the sky, firing energy blasts. The ground-burned dot in the middle of that battlefield was a man. He looked just like Elias, same face, same eyes. He stood beside a Guardian unit, giving commands. Soldiers followed him. Machines obeyed him. The voice of the vault whispered, "Commander Elias, first activation date, unknown. Last confirmed presence, War of the 13 Systems." Elias pulled his hand back. His heart raced. "This isn't real," he said. "That can't be me." But it was. Somehow, it was him. The truth about Elias the Vault showed him more. He had been created, not born. He was part human, part machine, a living key, a guardian of Earth, made long ago by an ancient civilization called the Architects. The Architects had built Titan. They had hidden it inside Earth. They knew one day an enemy would return, and had created Elias as the final protector. He was not supposed to awaken until the right time, but the Archevians' attack had triggered the systems. Titan had called him, and now he was awake. Elias sat down on the cold metal floor. The truth hit him hard. He was not just a man, he was a weapon. Meanwhile, in deep space, the Archevians had fled, but not far. A damaged warship floated in deep orbit, hidden behind the moon. Inside, a few soldiers remained watching, recording, sending data back to their homeworld. One of them, a young Ark soldier named Zalith, stared at the screen. "That human," he said, pointing to Ilias's face, "he controlled everything. He's not normal." Another soldier replied, "Our records say nothing about him. No species, no planet, no history. It's like he came from nowhere," Zalith whispered, "or from the past." They sent a final message to Arcavia, subject Elias. "He controls Earth's ancient systems. Recommend full investigation. Ostabals. Galactic-level threat." Back on Earth, Ilias returned to the main control room. The map of Earth now glowed in green. All systems were calm. The robotic voice spoke. "Would you like to activate Phase 2? Ilias hesitated. "What is Phase 2? Expansion of planetary defense? Preparation for possible galactic war?" Elias looked up at the ceiling. He wasn't ready for this. He didn't want war. But he knew now the Archevians would return, and they wouldn't come alone next time. "They'll bring everything they have," he whispered, "and I need to be ready." He gave the command, "Activate Phase 2. A new power awakens under the Earth, deep in the oceans and mountains. New chambers opened." These were not just weapons. They were factories, labs, and communication centers. Titan was growing, the man Earth had been waiting for. Far beneath the frozen land of Antarctica, something ancient was waking up. For thousands of years, ice and snow had covered it. No human had ever seen it. Not even satellites could detect it. It was buried too deep, hidden by technology far beyond Earth's current knowledge. But now, the core was alive again. A deep hum came from under the ice. The ground shook lightly. Lights glowed under the surface red, gold, and blue. Strange patterns appeared on the snow, forming a circle the size of a city. Titan had activated the core, and Elias was going to find out what it really was. Elias enters the unknown special transport ship flew over Antarctica, cutting through the stormy winds. Inside, Elias stood silently, wearing a black coat. Around him were Titan drones machines shaped like silver eagles. They followed his command without question. "Destination reached," said the robotic voice in his ear. The ship landed softly on a flat area of ice. As Elias stepped out, the ground beneath him began to move. Suddenly, the ice cracked. A giant metal ring rose from the earth, spinning slowly. It formed a doorway, glowing with ancient energy. Without fear, Elias walked through it. The core awakens inside. The entrance was a tunnel, dark, cold, and metallic. Strange writing covered the walls. The symbols glowed when Elias walked past them. The tunnel opened into a massive chamber, so large it looked like a city. Underground, in the center stood a tall structure shaped like a black crystal. It pulsed with life. This was the Kortha, heart of Titan. Elias approached it. "Identify yourself," a voice echoed from the crystal. "You know me." The core responded, confirmed Elias's code name, the chosen protocol. "Welcome home." History hidden in the dark, the crystal lit up. Images began to float in the air. Elias saw planets exploding, stars dying, machines flying across galaxies. He saw beings who looked like humans, but taller, faster, wiser. They were the architects. They were the first builders of Titan. They had created the defense systems of Earth long before any modern human civilization existed. They had fought the Archevians once, and nearly destroyed the galaxy doing it. "We were the last hope," the core said. "But we became too powerful. So we hid ourselves inside Earth, waiting for the signal." Elias asked, "What signal?" He was wearing golden armor, leading the last charge against the Archevians. "You were created as our last commander," the core said. "A living code, half human, half architect. You were sent to sleep until Earth needed you again." Elias stepped back. "Then why don't I remember?" "Your memories were sealed to protect you." The truth would have crushed you too early. Elias felt cold. Everything made sense now. His connection to the machines, his control over the Guardians, his power, it was all part of an ancient plan. The core's weapon, but there was more. The core changed shape, opening like a flower. Inside it was a glowing object floating in midair. It looked like a crystal blade wrapped in energy. "This is the Soul Edge," said the core. "It is your final weapon. No being in the galaxy can stand against it." Elias reached for it. The blade flew into his hand. A shockwave rushed through the chamber. His eyes glowed for a second. The symbols on the walls changed now, showing his name in every language of the architects. The core spoke again. "You are ready." Far away. Eyes watching in deep space, many light years from Earth. A strange station floated near a dead star. Inside, a council of alien leaders watched a screen. It showed Elias holding the Soul Edge. One of them growled, "The key has awakened." Another hissed, "The Titan system is fully active. We must warn the Archevian High Circle." A third replied, "It may be too late. Earth is no longer a minor world. It's a super Earth is coming." A warning from the core back in Antarctica. Elias stood in the middle of the glowing chamber. The core was quiet now, but then it spoke again, one final message. "This is not over. The Archevians will return, but they will not come alone." Other enemies watched Earth fall asleep. Now they see it is awake. A war is coming, not just for Earth but for the whole galaxy. Elias closed his eyes. "Then we'll fight." A beacon in the stars, the core sent out a signal, a pulse that traveled through space. It carried one message in an ancient code. "Titan has returned. Earth stands ready." The pulse passed through moons, stars, and dust clouds. It was heard by machines, by spies, by enemies, and by old allies who had long thought Earth was dead. Now, they knew better. The sky above Earth was peaceful again. No more alien ships. No more explosions. Just stars shining quietly in the darkness. To the people of Earth, the danger seemed to be over. But deep inside the Titan core, Elias knew better. He stood in front of the glowing crystal map of the galaxy. His hand rested on the hilt of the Soul Edge, the weapon he had just claimed from the core. Around him, machines moved quietly, waiting for his next command. But he didn't speak. He was still thinking about what the core had told him. "You were there, Elias. You fought in the Great War. You led the final battle. You are not just a protector of Earth. You are its last memory." The room of memories, the core, opened another chamber, a silent room filled with ancient machines and glowing orbs. "This is the vault of memory," the robotic voice said. "Here, your past is stored. Touch the orb when ready." Elias stepped forward. His fingers touched a floating orb, glowing with soft blue light. Instantly, everything around him disappeared. A world of Firilius stood in a different world. It wasn't real, it was a memory. The sky above was dark red. Huge machines floated in the air, firing energy blasts. Giant starships clashed like titans. Entire cities burned below. This was not Earth. This was another planet. Long destroyed, beside him stood beings in golden armor. Some looked human. Others looked like machines. But they all followed Elias. They called him Commander Prime. This was the Great War, a war that ended thousands of years ago. A war between the architects and the Archevians. The first time Earth fought, Elias now saw what had truly happened. Long ago, the Archevians had not just found Earth by accident. They had attacked it once before. Back then, Earth was part of the Architect Empire, strong and ancient civilization. Earth had powerful weapons, great knowledge, and peace until the Archevians came. The war was massive. It spread across planets and star systems. Billions died. Suns were destroyed. Space itself began to collapse. And in the middle of it all stood Elias. He was the final general. The day the war ended, in the last battle of the Great War, Elias led the final attack against the He used the full power of Titan, Earth's secret weapons, its guardians, and its hidden cores were unleashed. The Archevians were pushed back, broken, and almost wiped out. But the cost was terrible. The Architect Empire fell. Most of their cities were destroyed. Their machines shut down. It buried Titan deep underground and erased all memory of its past. except one. Elias. Elias. Awakens. The memory faded. Elias opened his eyes. He was back in the present, standing in the vault. His hands were shaking. His heart was heavy. He now remembered everything he had fought. He had lost friends. He had destroyed planets. And then he had chosen to sleep, to wait, to only wake when Earth was in danger again. That day had come. A message from the past. Suddenly, a hidden wall opened behind him. Inside was a glowing metal box. The core spoke again. This message is for Commander Elias, from the Architects. Played once, only when memory is restored. The box opened. A hologram appeared. He said, "If you are seeing this, then Earth is at war again. You were created not only to protect it, but to lead it. You are not just human. You are the last voice of the Architects. If the galaxy rises against Earth again, remind them who we were." The message ended in deep space. They are listening far away, near the edge of the galaxy. The Archevians had received news of their failed invasion. Inside a dark room, the high circle of Archevia sat around a red table. Their faces were hidden. Only their eyes glowed in the shadows. The invasion failed. One voice said. "Earth's weapons are active," said another. "Titan has returned." The room went silent. Then the leader of the circle stood. "Then we must act now. If Earth rises, it will not rise alone. The balance of power will break. We must destroy them before they remember too much." Back on Earth, Elias left the vault of memory and returned to the Titan command center. He was stronger now, not just in body, but in mind. He knew who he was. He knew what Earth had been, and what it must become. Again, the robotic voice asked, "Commander, what are your orders?" Elias looked at the galaxy map, pointed to one of them. "Prepare a message. To all of space, tell them, Earth remembers, and we are not afraid." A signal of power Titan sent out a powerful pulsar wave of light, a sound, and a warning dot. It traveled faster than light, through wormholes across systems, through darkness and silence. When it reached the edge of the galaxy, it spoke one message. "All who think Earth is weakery, remember the war? We do." The world was not the same anymore. After Elias sent out the Titan pulse, the planet changed, not just in spirit, but in reality. Earth began to wake up all around the globe. Strange things started to happen. In the Sahara Desert, giant machines rose from beneath the sand. In the oceans, metal towers appeared from deep underwater. In the forests of Brazil, green lights moved between the trees like ghosts. But the most shocking change of all happened in old Siberia. Stood up the sleeping city, long ago, before the Great War. The Architects had created moving cities, giant machines shaped like cities, built for defense, war, and escape. Most of these were lost, destroyed, or hidden, but one had survived. Under the frozen lands of Siberia, the city called Valon Prime had slept for thousands of years. Now, with Titan reactivated and Elias awake, Valon Prime began to move. It pushed through ice. Its giant legs broke the frozen ground. Walls of metal rose like mountains. It roared to life, shaking the skies. People nearby screamed and ran. Drones flew to capture the event. News spread across the world. A city is walking in Russia. Elias Arivzelius, along with his new team from Titan, flew toward the rising city in a sleek black aircraft called the Falcon Drop. Beside him sat Dr. Lena, the scientist who had discovered the core. Also, there was Raoul, the ex-soldier, who had once doubted Elias but now followed him with full trust. From the window, they saw Valon Prima, massive structure with moving towers, glowing shields, and weapons bigger than mountains. This is a city," Raoul whispered. "No," Elias replied. "This is a battle station." Inside Valon Prime, the Falcon Drop landed on a wide metal platform that extended like a tongue from the city's chest. As Elias stepped inside, the city responded. Lights turned on. Doors opened. It was like the city remembered him. In the main control hall, a deep voice echoed from the walls. "Commander Elias, welcome home." The city's AI had survived. Its name was Silva. She spoke slowly, like someone waking up from a long dream. "Valon Prime online. War status. Level red. Core sync confirmed. Awaiting command." Leah smiled faintly. "Activate full defense. Prepare for orbit shift." Dr. Lena blinked. Orbit shift. Wait, you're moving this city into space? Yes, Elias said. It was built for that. The plan back at Titan Command. The Corps had discovered something alarming. The Archevians weren't just preparing another attack. They were building a planet Glora weapon that could destroy Earth in a single shot. And it would be ready in 8 days to stop it. Earth needed something more than just Titan. It needed its own army. So Elias gave the order, wake the sleeping cities. Valon Prime was the first. The awakening spreads across the world. More cities began to rise. In the Andes Mountains, the lost city of Azura shook off stone and stood on 4 legs. In the Pacific Ocean, Nautilus, a floating city, split into hundreds of warships. In Africa, a city known only as the Ember Shield opened its gates and released flying drones older than time. People were scared, but amazed. They realized something. Earth was never weak. It had just forgotten who it was. Enemies are watching. A distant Archevian warship. A spy drone floated before the high circle. It played the latest footage. Cities walking, weapons moving, skies glowing. One of the council members stood in anger. This is not the Earth we expected. They are not primitives, said another. They are hiding monsters. They were sleeping gods, said the leader, and now they rise. He turned to the others. Send in the Void Legion. No more waiting. Destroy the planet before it remembers too much. Back to Elias Valon, Prime shook as it lifted into the sky, engines roaring. The entire city slowly began to float upward, higher and higher, until it touched the clouds, and then broke through into space. People on Earth watched with wide eyes. A city, flying like a ship. Inside the command tower, Silva announced, orbit achieved, Earth defense position set. Awaiting additional battle stations, Elias looked at the stars. He knew the final battle was near, but he also knew Earth was no longer alone, and no longer asleep. The sky over Earth was no longer silent. On the edge of the solar system, strange signals echoed through space. Space stations picked up vibrations, dark, deep, and cold. Elias stood in the command tower of Valon Prime, floating in orbit above. Earth, his eyes were fixed on the giant star map. Something was coming. Something ... terrible. Objects approaching, said Silva, the city's AI voice. Speed, hypersonic. Origin, Archevian, outer belt. Number 2000 plus. Elias didn't blink. He knew this day would come. Raoul, standing beside him, whispered, Void Legion. Dr. Lena looked confused. What is the Void Legion? Elias turned slowly toward her. It's their final army, he said. The Archevians only release the Void Legion when they plan to erase a species, not fight it, erase it. Across the planet all over Earth, alarms screamed. In New York, skies turned red as defense satellites activated. In Beijing, laser cannons rose from hidden towers. In Nigeria, the Ember Shield city began to deploy drones shaped like eagles. In Antarctica, old architect machines buried in ice lit up and started walking. Earth's old defense systems, long hidden or forgotten, were waking up. This time, humanity would not wait for the enemy to land. The first contact on the far side of Mars, the first wave of Void Legion ships appeared. They were black like ash, with no windows, no sound, only moving shadows in the shape of death. Each one carried thousands of Archevian warbots, engineered to destroy everything machines, with no mercy, no voice. No Sol. One Earth satellite tried to scan them. It was destroyed in seconds. Elias watched the live feed. They're not just coming to fight, he said. They're coming to end us. Earth's first strike before the Void Legion could get closer. Elias gave the order. Initiate hammerfall. From Earth's surface, hundreds of missiles shot into space. Some were nuclear, some were plasma, some were older weapons that hadn't been used in centuries. Valon Prime opened its chest. Cannons, massive energy weapons, and fired glowing beams across the stars. The sky turned into fire. Hundreds of void ships were destroyed in the blast. But, for each one that fell, 10 more appeared. The battle above Earth, the Void Legion, reached Earth's orbit. The real battle began. Valon Prime was the first line of defense. Its energy shields glowed blue as the Void warships fired black plasma bolts. Inside Valon, Elias shouted orders. Divert power to Sector 7 shields. Fire main cannon. Raoul and Lena worked fast, helping control systems that hadn't been touched in centuries. Outside, Earth's other awakened cities joined the fight. Azura, the mountain city, launched missiles from its back. Nautilus, the ocean fleet, formed a massive circle and fired synchronized torpedoes. The Ember Shield used its drones to cut through enemy ships. Like knives through paper, it was not a battle anymore. It was a war for survival. The fall of London, despite all efforts, not all cities were safe. A section of the Void Legion broke through and reached Earth. In London, black pods rained from the sky. Archevian bots crawled out and began destroying everything in their path. Buildings exploded, streets cracked, people ran, screamed, hid. The local forces tried to fight, but they were outnumbered until a surprise arrived. The ground shook in an old British fortress. Buried deep beneath the city, rose like a tank. Its name was Lion's Den, a forgotten war machine from the Architect Age. It opened fire and saved the city. For now, Elias makes a choice back on Valen Prime. Elias saw the situation getting worse. Silva warned him, casualties rising. We cannot stop the Legion with firepower alone. Elias took a deep breath. Then he spoke the most dangerous command. Prepare the gate. Raul's eyes widened. No, not the gate, Elias. Lena asked, what gate? Elias turned. There is a doorway, a hidden passage between galaxies. The architects called it the Silent Path. It leads to the Archevian homeworld. Raoul stepped forward. You're not thinking of going there, Elias nodded. We've defended long enough. It's time to end this at the source. Everything was quiet inside Valen Prime 2. Quiet Elias stayed in front of the sealed chamber, deep within the core of the station. Behind the giant metal doors was something no human had touched in 1,000 years. It was called the Silent Path, an ancient gateway built by the architects. No one really knew how it worked. It didn't look like a wormhole. It didn't spin like a black hole. It just waited, silently, waiting for someone brave or foolish enough to use it. The final team. Elias didn't plan to go alone. He selected a small strike team. Raoul, his oldest friend, a war strategist with nerves of steel. Dr. Lena, the only scientist who could understand Archevian tech. Zara, a fearless combat pilot from the Ember Shield. Unitex 07, a half-human, half-AI soldier from the Architect era, awakened just for this mission. They would go through the Silent Path, enter the Archevian homeworld, and find a way to destroy the Void Legion from the source. It was madness, but Earth was out of options. Opening the path inside the gateway room, Silva activated the system. Ancient symbols lit up on the walls. The floor shook. The temperature dropped. Then, in the center of the room, space opened. Not like a door, not like a portal, more like a hole in reality. It looked dark, endless, cold, but alive. Zara whispered, "This feels wrong." Elias said quietly, "Everything about this war feels wrong." Then he looked at his team. Ready? One by one. They nodded. Then Elias stepped through the Silent Path. The journey beyond it was not space on the other side. There were no stars, no light, only a tunnel of shifting shadows and strange whispers. Lena held her head. Something's inside my mind. It's speaking. Raoul clenched his fists. Ignore it. Keep walking. They moved forward. Every step felt heavier, every breath colder. Suddenly, lights flashed above them, memories, but they weren't human memories. They were visions of destruction. Entire planets burning, species screaming, galaxies going silent, the void. Legion had done this before. They had ended thousands of civilizations. Earth was next, unless Ilias stopped them. Arrival at the homeworld after what felt like days, they reached the other side. The Silent Path opened. Again, and the team stepped onto the surface of a dead planet. Black skies. No sun, no wind, just dust and ruins. They had arrived at the Archevian homeworld, but it didn't look alive. It looked abandoned. No towers, no cities, just silence. Zara checked her scanner. There's something below us. Big and active. Elias pointed to a nearby crack in the ground. Then we go down the core of the machine god. They found a tunnel, a long spiral path leading into the center of the planet. As they went deeper, the walls changed metal, lights, wires. It was not a planet, it was a machine, a planet-sized AI brain, built by the Archevians to control the Void Legion. At the center was a giant chamber, and in the middle, floating in darkness, was the core IT. It pulsed like a heartbeat, red, cold, dangerous. Dr. Lena gasped, "This is it, the Void Legion's controller. If we destroy this, we destroy them all." But before they could act, something woke up. The machine speaks from the walls. A deep voice echoed, "You are not welcome here." It was the voice of the machine god. "Leave now, or be unmade." Elias stepped forward. "You've destroyed enough lives. It ends here." The ground shook. The lights turned red. A massive figure formed in front of them, a giant made of shadow, wires, and memory. It was the avatar of the machine god. Unitex 07 raised his arm. "I will buy you time. Finish the mission." He ran toward the monstrand. They both vanished in a storm of light and metal. The Count on Lena ran to the core. "We need to overload it." She started connecting cables and typing into her pad. Zara and Raoul defended her, shooting Archevian bots crawling from the walls. Elias watched the timer. 30 seconds. The core screamed, not with sound, but with pressure, like it was trying to crush their minds. Blood ran from Lena's nose, but she kept working. "Almost done. 10 seconds. Raoul shouted, "Get ready to run." Escape. The core exploded in light. They grabbed Lena and ran back toward the silent path. The walls collapsed behind them. The machine god screamed one last time, and the ground began to break apart. They reached the gateway just as it was closing. Zara hit the button. The team was pulled through space, tripped back toward Earth in a blink of light and heat. Back on Earth, they landed on Valen Prime with a crash. Everything was silent. Then, cheers. Raoul looked out the window. The Void Legion ships were falling, crashing into each other, exploding in space. The enemy was gone. Earth had won. But Elias wasn't smiling. He looked at the stars. "Something tells me this war isn't truly over." The war was over. The Void Legion was gone. Earth had survived. But Elias knew deep inside, something didn't feel right. The silence after victory Valen Prime was quiet, too quiet. After the core was destroyed, millions celebrated across Earth and the colonies. But Elias couldn't sleep. He kept dreaming of a voice, whispering through the stars, a voice saying, "I am not finished." He told Lena about it. She looked pale. "That voice, I heard it too." The message from the deep 2 days later. A signal was received from deep space, not from the Void Legion, not from the Archevians. This was something older. A voice spoke in a broken, ancient language, but Silva translated it. "One architect lives. He is watching." It came from the Omega system, a place no ship ever returned from. Elias knew what he had to do. Journey to Omega. Elias gathered one last team. Raoul, Lena, Zara, Silva. They boarded the Starship Reckoner and set course for Omega. As they traveled, Silva warned them, the architects were not just builders. They were gods, and the last one, he may not be on your side. They entered Omega space, and the stars vanished, just blackness, and in the center of it a glowing sphere, floating in nothing. It was the last architect's vault. Inside the vault, the Reckoner landed on a platform made of living metal. No doors, no guards, only a single glowing path. They walked silently, weapons ready. At the end was a room full of light, and in the center floated a figure, tall, pale, woven from stardust, and Code, the last architect. He turned to face them. "You killed my children." Elias stepped forward. "Your children murdered billions. They had to be stopped." The architect's eyes glowed. "You have power, but no balance, no understanding." Raoul raised his gun. "Then help us understand." A terrible truth. Architect lowered his head. "I created the Archevians to protect this galaxy, but they lost control." He showed them visions thousands of years ago. The Archevians were once peaceful, guardians, watchers, but over time they feared death and built the Void Legion to live forever. The Legion became madness. They erased planets, the architect said. "I tried to stop them. They turned against me." Lena asked softly, "Why did you call us here?" He looked at Elias. "Because now you must take my place." The choice. The vault lit up. Thousands of machines rose from the ground, drones, codes, and world builders. You defeated the Legion, the architect said. Now you can rebuild this galaxy. But it will cost you, Elias asked. What do you mean? One of you must stay here forever. Architect. Time stopped. No one spoke. Then Silva stepped forward. I was made by humans. But I am not human. Let me be the bridge, Zara shouted. No, we need you. But Elias nodded. She's right. She was always meant for more. Silva smiled. Then I choose to stay. A new beginning. The architect faded. Silva took his place. Her voice became deeper, calmer, wiser. I will guide you. I will protect you. I will help you build a future where power does not destroy. The vault began to hum. A beam of light shot out, spreading across the stars. All war systems shut down. All lost colonies reconnected. Peace returned, but this time it was guided not by fear, not by machines, but by the will of humanity. Epilogue. Earth remembered back on Earth. Elias looked at the sky. Raoul had retired. Zara was training a new generation of pilots. Lena returned to her lab to study the secrets of the stars. Silva's voice still echoed across space, soft, protective, and the name Earth became something feared and respected, because when the galaxy tried to break Earth, Earth broke the galaxy's chains.